So my story doesn't just affect me, it affects my family. And I'm a very grateful person because as bad as it may sound, this has been the best journey that I could have asked for. I couldn't have asked for this. And most people wouldn't choose this path. This last year has been probably one of the best years of my life. Definitely one of the best year of my 8 years of my journey. But I grew up in a Christian home, like you guys, except our version of Christian home when I was in the 70s, 80s was you went to church on Sunday. Your parents like prodded you, get out of bed, we're going to church. You got there, you grumbled, you got there, someone talked to you, and then you left. And then it wasn't ever talked about seen or in action the rest of the week until Sunday again. So that was my parents' faith, right? That wasn't really me owning my own. And I think you've probably heard many people say someday you're gonna own your own, or some of you may have been chosen to get baptized again at your age. I just did a rebaptism 2 years ago. That was a choice I made. I was baptized as a baby, so it wasn't mine. It was my parents baptizing me. But this one was mine. And that, again, is part of my journey. I have verses up on the board that meant a lot to me in the last 8 years. There's a red one, a black one, a blue one, and a green one. Short, simple, to the point in 2 Corinthians, for we live by faith, not by sight. That is so true in everybody's story, but I can speak to mine. There was a lot of things that I've had to deal with and go through that I just had to believe that there was something more to life than me trying to control my life. And I had to let go and let faith drive it. And I guarantee you, it was so worth it. Like the joy I feel now is internal. It's not happy that I got a Starbucks in my hand, or happy because the school day is over, or I don't have to teach my kids because it's Saturday. It is my joy inside, and no one can take it. And that came through this. So trials happen, right? If you look at the person next to you, look at the person across the table from you, just take a look at the people that are surrounding you right now. Every one of you has something. There is some trial, some angst, something that makes you frustrated or you're worried about inside. You as seniors, so you're my first class of seniors I've talked to. So yours would be a little bit maybe more mature or bigger feeling than when you were a sophomore. Yeah, you guys have got college coming up. You've got the unknown of moving away, trying something new, leaving friends behind, maybe leaving a boyfriend or girlfriend behind. And there's a lot of things that get stirred up, but I guarantee you that your journey is already set there for you. You need to go and enjoy the ride. Yeah? Let God take that and let Him use you the way you need to be used. Me being able to come here was kind of funny because it was at homecoming when I was out doing the flowers, and Mr. Whitehead came up to me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to speak sometime to my classes?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like before I even thought about what that meant. I used to teach middle school, so I know how to be in front of a class, but it's been 17 years. So, you know, y'all changed since I was teaching, and you're older than what I was teaching. But like to all things, being able to be a teen mom, I've gotten to know you, and actually if I could do it over again, I'd probably want to teach high school. I think you can have deeper and more meaningful conversations. At middle school, they're just goofy, like really goofy. You might have brothers or sisters in middle school. You get what I'm saying. Or you remember your days. But when he said that, I can tell you that if I don't think about the fear of standing in front of kids, youth, young adults, or people, I will get more out of my life. So I say yes now to a lot and live fear. Like I'm on the edge of fear like every day. Like walking through this classroom, I know you guys are all watching my gait. That's huge. There's a lot of people I have met in this journey of mine this past year that are amputees that hide the fact that they're an amputee. You know what? This is a battle scar from God. I am going to shine with it. This is mine. I want you to see it. I want you to ask about it. I want you to joke about it. I mean, don't be ruthless and rude, but you know, let's have fun with it. First day I brought it home, my kids were doing something with my husband, and when I'm not wearing it, I have to use crutches, so I'm on crutches only in the evening. came out to find my leg in the middle, standing with its foot like that, and a lampshade on the top, yeah? First day, I'm like, we're in for a ride. This is gonna be good. We got a long ride ahead of us. But that, we use humor, and I allow that. I showed them the humor right off the bat, because I was also afraid that, I had lots of fears going into this. You know, what happens if something happens to me on the table during the surgery and I die? I mean, it's taken off an entire chunk of my body. I guess that's a possibility. You know, it's not just like, you know, a knee surgery or elbow or whatever, but it's, you know, losing something. So I had to deal with that. I had to reconcile my fears. I can tell you every day I deal with fears. Every day there's something that chokes up in my throat, makes butterflies happen, but I step out and know God will catch me no matter what it is I do. And I would say 98% of the time, something really amazing happens from it. We were talking about the quote up here that Mr. Whitehead put, I trust in the next chapter because I know the author. I get that now. It took something huge for me, but I get that now. Because, and I told the last class, and it really makes it powerful and drives it home, you guys are a part of my next chapter. Like, you are the first group of people I've gotten to speak in front of. People have asked me my story, and you know, when you're in passing, you get 5 or 10 minutes to just say, so this happened, blah, blah, blah. And they all want to hear about the surgery and what happened and how did it feel, the phantom pains, da, da, da. This, I get to tell the whole story. Because it wasn't just my journey, it was what God had for me, and God was a huge part of it. He had to be. I couldn't have done this alone. So, with that being said, this actually started with a karate accident. Second degree black belt testing, popped my MCL. Well, if any of you have done that, you know that it's no surgery needed. It's you go to PT for a few weeks and they get you back out there. Yeah, no, I knew I was special from the get-go. That was the first moment he's like, wow, that didn't change you at all. Like, all right, I guess we're doing surgery. About 10 surgeries in the last 7 years, 3 in the first 6 months. And every time was the same thing. We'd fix something that they thought was happening. I would go to PT, I'd get going, I'd get bending, I'd be doing really well, plateau, and then I would totally tank. I couldn't do the weights, I couldn't do the exercise, the swelling would happen, and more swelling, couldn't bend the leg, couldn't straighten the leg. Everything you don't want to hear your PT telling you is happening. Another surgery, same thing. And it was probably maybe 5 or 6 surgeries in that I started looking at my own doctor notes and deciphering it on Google, like, what is that word? Google search, well, that doesn't sound good. You know, and starting to do that. First clump of words that came to the surface that I started doing more research on was arthrofibrosis, which is basically hyperscarring. Doctors will play it down, but that's what eventually took my leg. I scarred so much, so bad, that my final surgery was a scope just to clean it out to see if we could get some movement. And then when I woke up, he's like, so we have a problem. I'm like, oh, please don't say that. I look down, my feet are still there. Okay, good, that's good. Couldn't get in the scope holes, because if you know scopes, or if your parents or anything, they just put 2 little holes in, right? One for the viewing camera, one for the saw to clean things up. Couldn't even get in, there was so much scarring. So they had to open me all up again, just like before, which causes all the scarring. Then he says, and I went through 4 saws with you. I've never done that before. So I broke like 3 saws, and he was on his 4th one, and he finally finished up cutting everything. Which then, of course, you can guess, a week later I went to see him, and the scarring was so bad, so fast back. He's like, I've never seen that in 1 week. He goes, you know, you could do an amputation because you're not ready for it yet. And I'm like, I've done everything. I've spent 7 years. What are you waiting for? Not that I was like, let's do it, but I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I couldn't walk, couldn't ski, couldn't hike, couldn't get on a bike. Even the ATV, we'd go up to our cabin. I couldn't get in the, I barely got in the ATV, but then the bumpiness would just send me screaming because, you know, that scar tissue, any jerk, you're tearing scar tissue, which causes more bleeding, causes more scarring, and it just was a cycle. And he goes, well, you're just too happy. Wow, I was accused of being too happy. I'm like, well, that's great, but I homeschool my kids. I really don't want to be in the corner crying, sobbing, and looking like death is knocking on my door before I decide we gotta pull a plug on this leg. And so I walked away a little bit dismayed on there was no next step. I was gonna just live this way. To that effect, my word this year is transparent. You ask me anything, I'm pretty much straightforward. I have no reason to sugarcoat anything. It's hard. It's a hard ride. I might make it look easy. Even my kids would think to the point where, you know, they don't even see it anymore. They just still give me crap. I'm like, could you just lighten up? Look, I got a missing leg. And they're like, whatever. So I don't get anything from the house. But transparency is very important to me. I say that to you on a side note because those of you that do know me on social media notice I've gotten out there more. I hate selfies. It's not the age for selfies. I don't like hearing my voice, so videos, that's a huge step. My camera going, don't like it, but I have people going, you gotta do it, you gotta show us, we wanna see what you're saying. But I gotten out there, I'm telling people the story because what ended up happening to me at 48, I know happens to you guys daily. You're on your phones, you're doing stuff that we never had at your age. Comparison. I'm a go-getter. You know, if you don't know me, I'm a go-getter. Like, okay, I hurt myself in getting my second degree black belt. So at, 40, 41, nothing was gonna stop me. Something did. But I got on social media and I started seeing other amputees and what they were doing. How are they doing that so good? I got a running blade. Okay, I look like a deer that just was born when I get my running leg on. I'm like, it's just really bad. And everybody else is like, look at me, I'm a speed. I'm like, oh man, I really just want to run. I mean, when you haven't run for 8 years or walked, running is exhilarating. But it's a lot of hard work. I've fallen, I now have wrist guards, so I don't break a wrist. But at my age, now it's like, whatever, I want to find out about you. So I see someone running and I will now direct message, why do you look so good? How are you like that? Well, they're like, well, I practice all the time, how long have you been an amputee? Oh, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I'm like, I've had my leg for like 3 months, my running blade for 3 months, and no wonder I look like that and they look like that. But I'm willing to go out and go, I know this can't, there's gotta be a secret. I'm thinking there's gotta be a reason why I can't look like that. I'm not patient. And I will be the first to attest that, even homeschooling, not patient. So, I push that forward because it doesn't matter your age on social media. The snippets of things you guys see of your friends that maybe make you feel bad or sad or angry is what they want you to see. Yeah, even when I try to do a video or a selfie, how many times can you retake that? You still look like that. Oh, and so I try. But you know what? I've seen you guys like, oh, it's this, it's the side, it's right. You know what I mean? It's like, you're putting out your best. Do you realize that they're putting out their best? And so I have to remember that, even at my age, that I need to enjoy my journey. I have to know that I'm doing what God wants me to do. I'm putting my best foot forward, and I will get there if that's my goal. But on my time, on what God has planned for me, not somebody else's. So, needing to know that, I wanted to share that with you, because that's kind of really important. I tell my kids about that all the time, that, you just gotta watch that. When I say looking at each other, you guys all have something going on. And if we have talked about this, Mr. Whitehead and I, like, it's really sad that I think the closest you come to God is during the trials of your life. We take for granted when life is going great. Got my friends, my family's feeding me and giving me clothes, and I've got what I need. I'm going off to college. Things are good. You don't have to lose a leg to find the trial in your life. Trials can be all sizes, right? So that being said, some of these this verse over here, this be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer, was very, very important to me. Some of you might actually remember, do you remember Banks Madden?
Yeah.
Banks.
Yeah, South Carolina.
Yep, that's the mom, my friend, we're still very good friends, who the week before my surgery challenged me to do the Rock and Roll Marathon. She said, any level except marathon. She's like, I'm not willing to do that with you. I'm like, okay. So she knew the kind of personality I was. She wanted to challenge me and put a carrot in front of me to get up and don't sit back and go, oh, woe is me, kind of a thing. Get moving, right? It's not the end of the world. And the night we got together right before my surgery, she handed me this bracelet here. I have not taken it off since she gave it to me over a year ago. And on it says Romans 12:12. And this was her mom's. Now, Some of you know this, the year that I had my surgery, which was December 19th of 18, so a year ago, this last December, that January, I lost my mom. We were best friends. Like, I called her daily. She lost her mom the year before. And so I know the closeness and how hard it would be to give up something of my mom's to a friend that I've only known for a few years. But this was her mom's when she got diagnosed with cancer. And her friend put on that verse. And so I wear this every day because I need to remember to be joyful, that there's hope, yeah, and patient. 8 years of patience through all the afflictions I went through, believing that there was something better. And I always would say, my quote through all this, even the very first surgery was, one of these days, I'm gonna be laughing about this. I'm not totally laughing now, but I am making jokes, you know, but it was true. I said that 8 years ago. One of these days, God's got a sense of humor. This is gonna be funny. This is gonna be a great story. And here we are, like I'm getting to tell you guys. And then some of these other ones, the trials. You're gonna face the trials in life, right? In James, there will be trials. You're each going through it. And please, whatever you do, the biggest pet peeve I have with people is I'll have friends, I'll be like, hey, how are you doing? And if they're really honest, not saying, oh, good, how are you? That, like, we got 5 seconds. And they say, well, I'm going through this, but it's nothing compared to you. I'm like, do I look like I've got a problem? Because I don't feel like I got a problem. I'm just enhanced. I'm bionic now. I don't think that's a problem. I get another one. I get 2 of those running blades on. I could jump higher than most of you, I bet. Once I figure them out. A few years down the road, maybe about 10 years down the road. But I don't see me as having a problem. It is a challenge. But you know what? God wired me for challenge. He didn't give this to the person that wasn't going to be able to take it on. And I own that, and I love that, and I love that he chose me. So knowing this, when you get out there in this world that you guys are jumping into, yeah, you're gonna get knocked down. What are you gonna do with it? I am hoping, and I put this out there, and actually between the 2 classes here, I went out to my car, yeah, I did a video. It's not pretty, but it's a video because I had people going, I wanna come in and watch. I had several friends say, can I come in and watch? I said, you have to call school. Because even my friends that know, kind of, they probably want to hear how I'm going to present it to the up-and-coming Christian family, right? Where are you going to go with it? My only goal with this would be if one of you, if this just strikes a chord, any aspect of it strikes a chord in you, to put a skip in your step or light in your heart, guess what? I've succeeded. I just need to connect with one, because guess what? You go out with that light and you connect with one, and now I've connected with 2. Story this morning, I woke up, not kidding you. I have the amputation world is small. You start connecting, you start really, and I joke because it's like when I got my blue Jeep, I'm like, I'm the only one with this blue Jeep. Hey, wait, there's like 20 in my neighborhood. How did that happen? Amputees. And you might now start seeing them. Like all my girlfriends are like, I see them everywhere now. Yeah, if you just look, we get so like this, we're used to our own group that we don't really see that, but they're everywhere. This morning I woke up, kind of butterflies in my stomach, not gonna lie, and I had a direct message from some lady I forgot I had talked to about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. For those of you that saw anything that I got on one of my kids' old scooters, which is like down here. And I'm like, well, let's just see if I can do wheels. You have to understand that this is my kick leg, which is a great workout. So I see things as a workout. That's a great workout. But I can't stop, and I can't pick up my back foot and hit the brake. So it's like all or nothing. And if I hit a hill, it's all or nothing. So helmets on, because I got scolded by some friends. Helmet on, wrist guards, things like that, because we don't need a wipeout. And I'm doing this. Well, this girl that saw it, and I posted it, and you guys really, you have no idea my fear of social media and videos and selfies. I would rather post pictures of puppies than anything about me. So when you see it go, oh, it took a lot for her to post that. Yes, you'd be right, okay? She saw it. Of course, Peyton videoed it. The first time he wanted to take me down a hill, I was like, yeah, I can do that. Hey, face your fear, face your fear. It's just a scooter. I got a handle, it's not a skateboard. Skateboards and me don't get along. Get to the hill, I think I'm gonna kick a few times really hard. Didn't need to, it's a hill. He's like, okay, and it's a T. You have to understand that it's a hill to a T in a big Yeah, sidewalk. There's nothing good about this. And I'm like heading down, and I'm like, this is great, oh my gosh. Peyton, I don't know how I'm gonna stop. And you can just see the video, and I did not post that video. It was classic. Maybe if I feel funny one day I will. It's one of those, literally, he could have just totally videotaped the whole thing laughing. I mean, I'm really impressed actually with his demeanor on this. He literally was like, holy cow, Mom, hold on. You can see the camera do one of those and shut off, and he gets in his, and I look up and he's doing this. And I'm thinking, are you gonna stop me? I felt like I was going 50 miles an hour. Like, I'm gonna wipe you out. We're both going to the hospital tonight. And so then it was like, well, you know, you could turn the wheel. And I did a quick turn, and then that was the moment of, woo! And I was, yeah, that was like a serious rush. I'm like, yeah, now we do it like almost every night. But then it got good and started turning right. Right's hard. You guys remember learning driving? Left turns are pretty easy. Rights are a little bit tighter. Right coming into your school here, that's tight. That's how I felt. And it seems silly. I look at the video, I'm like, you know, I swear we were going 40 or 50. That looks like 5. You know, but to me, knowing I can't stop, I know I have to trust the path. And it was not easy, but those are some of those things. Well, this lady reached out to me this morning from the UK. Angie, I just want to let you know, I convinced my husband to get a scooter. She's an amputee. And she's like, thanks to you, I knew if she could do it, I could do it. I'm like, UK, baby. I'm like, that just made my day. That made me get up, and I will tell her later, I'm like, can I post this? She's like, for sure. She sent me a video. She goes, it's wobbly, but I get the thrill, even if it's only 5 miles an hour. It's the fact that we gained a little bit more of our freedom back, and trusting, right? Trusting what's gonna happen. And so I'm telling you this because whatever you are going through, you know that someone next to you is going through something too. Yeah, we have kindness. I say there's 2 things that God wants from us. He wants us to have faith in Him. Trust that He is there no matter what. Even when He feels distant, He's there. Second, love. That's it. Faith and love. Faith in Him and love the people here. When you look at each other, and this has taken me 48 years of life to look at people and say, how does God see this person? Because, you know, I'm the first one to get all by the person driving in front of me like a crazy person, or, you know, someone running up behind me and honking at me, and I'm like, dude, you know, back off. And then I'm like, breathe. This is God's kid too, right? And I was gonna tell, yeah.
I was just gonna say, Mrs. Huser wanted to make sure that you guys felt comfortable asking any questions. She wants you to get engaged and ask those questions, but maybe something that could actually start that off is tell them what happens at night with your leg, and what do you do with that?
Some of the fear that came before the surgery was that you don't know what you don't know. And I don't know anybody that's got an amputation. Does anybody here know anybody personally? Did I ask you that yet? Does anybody know anybody personally that's got an amputation? I mean, it's just like, it's not there. You do now. You got a friend in me, I'm here. You can ask me anything. Really, there's nothing that's too personal. It's just what it is, because it's my life. At night, one of my biggest fears was, you know, at my age, I'm pretty strong. I crutch around, but what if I'm 85 and this doesn't grow back? I've been told it does not grow back. So this is me at 85, this is me at 105 if I make it that long. Could you imagine me at that age trying to crutch to the bathroom in the middle of the night? And we all know that when people get older, they go to the bathroom multiple times in the middle of the night. So I've been told by my family. So, you know, I worried about that a lot. Well, you know what, it is what it is. At night, I don't wear this in bed. It was the strangest question, but that was one of my questions to these people that I started meeting. Do you wear it to bed? No. So what do you do in the middle of the night? Crutches. You get a walker, you get a wheelchair. I'm so not going to wheelchair. So I crutch. Most of the time it feels pretty good. Like right now I'm talking to you, I'll shift a little. I can feel my foot, it's tingling. You know, it's phantom sensation. I do believe that is one of God's wonderful creations. I used to curse it several months ago, but I figured if I stepped and I didn't feel the tingling, I wouldn't know my foot was there, even though it's not my foot. But I can feel it. I can feel all the tingling in the bottom of my foot. And there are times when I go and work out, do something with this leg, and I tighten, I'll find that I tighten up what muscle I do have, I can feel like pain shooting down my shin. Like, ladies, it's like shaving, and you shave the skin off right on your bone. That's the sensation. Like sharp, like someone took claws up my shin. So there are times where some of that, you're like, whoa, you know, it lets me know it's there. And so I always have to go around, and I do a lot of air quotes, my non-leg, my non-foot, I don't know what else to call it. The missing part, the missing wing, I don't know. But, you know, I can feel it all the time. The first month was probably the worst. And it was all sensation, and I was telling the last group this, that, you know, if your foot ever falls asleep, it's a horrible feeling, and you get up and you have to shake it off, and it feels funny to walk on it at first until you get the feeling back. It doesn't go away for me. It's that feeling, and the first 4 weeks, it was that feeling 24 hours a day. So that sensation just became painful just because it was driving me nuts. It doesn't stop, there's no reprieve. I couldn't sit a certain way, I couldn't take it off, I couldn't put it on. Didn't matter. So for 4 weeks, I thought there was no end. 4 weeks is very long when you're doing that all day, every day. To the point where I'd lay down at bed and be like, I just want to go to sleep, I just want to go to sleep. And it'd be like, I just didn't want to go away. And I would only fall asleep because I was so tired. Just from the day's work and from the exhaustion of the pain. Yeah. And I did tell them that, you know, all the time throughout the day right now, I change out my leg. I bring my bag everywhere I go. I feel like it's a diaper bag. It's like being a mom with little ones again, because I have to put in different thicknesses because you actually shrink throughout the day. So I did the 10K in January. That was one of my big hurdles. I did not run it like I wanted to. And for someone who's a perfectionist and goal setter, I'm still coming to terms with that because I visualized running, having great form and running through the finish line and finishing quick. I have to be excited that I finished because it was the hardest thing in my life, because what happened was I shrunk so much that several times I had to stop, take my leg off, add another layer, put my leg back on, and then when you put it back on, it's not like hunky-dory, let's go. It's like, all right, it's not really fitting right. Okay, come on, get in there right, and you spend like, you know, like a quarter mile just becoming friends with it again. Then it feels good, and you're like, I got it.
Do you guys know what she means by shrink?
Your leg atrophies. So, like if you were to, well, you can see even with side by side how thin this is. Like this just, it shrinks up. So my very first socket was huge, and you get new sockets because your leg just atrophies, the muscles go. So my muscles are stronger like here and here than anything in here, because I can't do like leg extensions in the gym to work on my quad. I can't do leg pulls because I don't have a knee. So without the knee, I can't do any of those things. So I have to be really creative. So I have a little muscle, and I gain muscle by keeping my hip in and walking every day, but it just shrinks and gets really small. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like to me, some people don't mind walking around with their leg and stuff off. It's still very private to me. It's still like, it would be like me walking around with no clothes on campus. I wouldn't do that. But some people are like, yeah, I don't care. I do. I don't like it. It's still me trying to get used to my new body. You know, I lost my friend, right? I had my foot for 47 years. I lost it. You know, that's a tough thing. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm sure that you guys have questions. This is senior class. I know there's gotta be questions. And I think if you wanna be funny about it, I got it. Is there anything that you've always wanted to know, or something that's made you curious? Because I'd rather you see me as that friend that you can ask those questions, because you don't know anybody. You have a question, I can see it in your face. No? Do you have a question? Yeah. How do you put it in? Yeah. This button is actually a valve. It's a one-way valve. And so
I'm curious too.
should I do it? Because if I do, I have to have my bag.
Oh, well, that's up to you. We've got about 4 minutes.
So it is. So I wear squirts all the time because of this. Like you go, like right when you go to your prosthetist office, he's feeling where everything's at. And you're like, whoo. But this is. So listen, you can hear it. So it's suction. Oh.
So this is your leg. Right
This
there.
is my actual leg. Yep. But so there is all these layers. Look at them. because I'm shrinking, it's gotten thinner. So then in my bag, there's a spray bottle.
You want that now?
I need the spray bottle, yeah.
Okay, right here?
Yeah. And the sad thing was, I'll tell you what, the little things, it's the little things that actually drive you nuts mostly. Every night I have to wash this liner. Like every night I'm like, for the rest of my life.
Wow.
That's horrible. And you get used to it, but you're like, okay, I don't like do my hair and my makeup, now I gotta do this, like really? Couldn't happen to a guy, not a girl. So then when you put it in, this is always fun, I do this in parking lots, you should see the looks I get. So I can push down and it pushes air out, but when I pull up, it won't let air come in, so it won't let out. So then I feel like I'm like the exercise I get just for doing this is horrible.
So then when you know it's locked in?
It stops making that hissing sound. And so you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, that's good enough. And then you'll see me when I first put it on, I'm like, it's like I have to hip up because it's not all the way in, you can hear it. Oh, there, see, now it's in. Yeah, good question. No one's asked that question. My very first one though, because that was really scary. I mean, it sounds simple because you see me do it, but my very first one on that liner that was there was a long strap that was Velcro, and they would cut a hole right here in the front, and you'd have to go in, open that whole long strip of Velcro. It's two-sided Velcro, and you put it and thread it through, and then I put my leg in and I'd pull down, and then I'd Velcro up, and I'd have this Velcro strip here, and I knew it was going nowhere, right? Then they go to suction, you're like, it's gonna fall off. Once I didn't put it on all the way, and I was like, I don't need any liners, going down the stairs. So you're going down, and all of a sudden this went like this, and I was literally that far off the stairs, and my leg just went boom, right to the stair. I'm like, okay. And go, and you get in there, and then you're like, okay, I obviously didn't get that one in right. So then I had to go downstairs and put another liner on. But that is the only time, like I don't fear it falling off when I walk. You kind of get a feel that it's starting to loosen up. Then you're like, I've got to stop here, and it's inconvenient. You know, grocery store, yeah, that's fine. Excuse me, time out. You know, right there in the grocery store or whatever. I try to do it privately, but at the same time, it does evoke some amazing conversations with some people that are just not afraid to ask. Or kids that stare and parents are mortified by that. Don't be. Like, we all have a story, and I've seen too many people be afraid to show. I told the last class, most people will hide it. Like, why? Like, I have nothing to hide. If you guys want to talk to me, I am more than happy to give you a life lesson on this. God forbid it ever happened to you, but I didn't know anything. This was a first for me. I don't know anybody with an amputation. And so, yeah. You had a question? Did you have an amputation?
I was gonna say like how far the amputation went.
Yeah. Well, that was a big question for me. I went into the doctor because I had September, I booked it in December, I had to wait that many months. Knowing I was on the schedule to the time I did it, and you're like, no, yes, all in one day. I was like, this is stupid, yeah, you're doing it, you know. And I finally went in and I said, okay, I really need you to not show me an x-ray and say, yeah, we're doing it there. I need you to literally, I wanted him to touch my leg exactly, because the higher up it is, the harder it is to actually do things. So there are